Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com, and today we're going to talk about specifically if you need a refinement or not. And a lot of times y'all are asking me, do I need a refinement? And my question is, I don't know, do you? I can't make that decision. There's a lot of information that needs to come from this, and part of it is from you, and part of it is from the patient. I mean, sometimes it's just glaringly obvious that not all the teeth are straight. Now, of course, I always like to let the patient weigh in. I don't really, I pointed out if everything, so we've got the cosmetic issue and we've got the health issue, and health issues have to be addressed. So before I even get into it with the patient, let's address the health issues first, and then we'll go to the cosmetic issues. Now, what I'm going to talk about today is going to build on some much more high-level topics that I've talked about in my other Invisalign videos. My Invisalign playlist has over 200 videos. I also have over 400 blogs. You can access all this from my website, straightsmilesolutions.com. If you can't find what you're looking for, I'm happy to send it to you. Just shoot me an email, info@straightsmilesolutions.com, and it's free. Sometimes we do courses, but I don't have one scheduled at the moment. And with aligner companies, each aligner company is totally different. I don't work for any of them, and I have to be really careful about the content I make because a lot of times they come after me because they would rather have you guys learn your aligner knowledge from their paid sessions. So they get very upset when I make these videos. And sometimes they come after me with their lawyers. So that's why I really can't teach courses on this topic. You guys are asking. So I just make them free. Like they don't think I'm not profiting from them. I'm just putting out information. So that's the why behind all this, because y'all are asking for courses and I'm like, sorry. I don't want to get sued again. So, all right. So let's talk about the 4 points. And I'm going to start with the health issues first. And what I do when a patient gets to the end of their aligners, obviously, if we're going through the sequence of aligners and they're getting off track, well, that's a different story. But let's say it looks like they've been on track this whole time. I get to the last aligner, let's say it's 30 out of 30. And all of this, the probability of not needing refinement really depends on if everyone did their job. What are the jobs? And this, of course, is in all my Invisalign videos. Number one, you have to make a quality Clin Check. That's not an Invisalign GO Clin Check or something that's just made by the technician. In my professional opinion, that is not something, there's a reason why orthodontists don't have that, okay? Because we spend our time learning to do Clin Checks properly. Take the time to learn to do it right. Make it predictable. Boom, you've done your job. So it's never going to be what the technician says. I'm going to spend multiple iterations getting it right, okay? So you've done your part, and then patient has done their part. Listen to my aligner delivery, especially there's a video called 2023 Aligner Delivery Instructions or something like that. I know it has 2023 in it because I make a new one each year, updating it. Listen to that. Follow those instructions. If you follow those instructions, your refinement rate will go way down. It's going to blow your mind. So the patient's done what they needed to do, and you've created a virtual accountability loop. If you don't know what that is, again, look up virtual care, virtual check-ins, remote check-ins. You can even do this for free with some of the aligner companies. Otherwise, it's very low cost. It's like $40 per patient per case. If you want some intros, shoot me an info. To get the best price, shoot me an email, info@straightsmilesolutions.com. I'll be glad to make introductions. There's a lot of great companies out there. Okay, boom. So you've done your job. Good treatment plan. They've done their job. You had a virtual accountability loop. There should not be refinements, but occasionally little things happen. So let's go over those 4 things I check in office. So number 1, I'm going to bust out some articulating paper. Tap, tap, grind, grind, pull, 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 pull. Not just like light tap. I want like grind to town on it. I want to see where those contacts are. If I've got contacts on anterior teeth, you get a refinement. I feel like Oprah, you get a refinement. That's a definite no. I'm not leaving you like this. And there's no way to fix this without a refinement. That's like do not pass go, you get a refinement. Non-negotiable. Now, of course, there is, the caveat that a patient has a right not to do things if they don't want to. But I'm going to create a very robust release form that really, if I'm going to leave them like that, because I know the risks of leaving heavy contacts on anterior teeth. My dentist left me with heavy contacts on my anterior teeth, and I didn't know what that was in high school, and I have no roots left, so because of fremitus. So 100, I'm not doing it unless they force my hand, and they're going to sign something crazy to the point where I could even contact my liability insurance and ask for help with that document. That's how serious that is. Okay, so let's say there's no anterior contacts, but there is spotty contacts on the back teeth. Some teeth that have opposing have it, some don't. Every tooth that has an opposing should have a contact, okay? In that case, there are a few more options, and I've got a ton of videos on posterior open bites with Invisalign, posterior open bites with clear aligners. Watch those videos to go over the different options. We could either do, well, I'm not even going to go into it. So in that case, it's either refinement or some of the other options, because I would spend an hour on this video if I went over those. So watch those, okay? That needs to be addressed one way or another. Could be a refinement, could be something else. Okay, so we talked about anterior contacts. We talked about non-consistent posterior contacts. Last thing I want you to check clinically in the chair. And by the way, if you guys are working with me at Straightsmile Solutions as a concierge member or a premium member, at this point, you're taking pictures with the aligners in and out with articulating paper, okay? So that's how, but as far as the next point, this is something you have to do. You gotta put on your periodontist hat and check contacts. I want nice, snug contacts. I don't want perio traps. An open contact is okay if you're meant to put an implant in there, you know, or if it's big enough that it's not gonna become a perio trap. Obviously that isn't ideal. You should have planned for this. I mean, my goal with every ortho case is to give nice, healthy contacts or to open up spaces for implants. Is either one or the other. But occasionally you have just random 3 millimeter space that there's just patient refused to get a impacted molder taken out, and we just really don't have a choice. But it's not unhealthy. And, you know, we're going to stabilize it so it doesn't tip. So, I mean, there's a few one-offs there. But yeah, no perio traps. Okay, so let's say all that is good. Let's say we didn't have an issue with POB, posterior open bite. We didn't have anterior contacts. We don't have perio traps. Now let's look at alignment. Now this is the cosmetic part of it. You know, obviously our goal is to give the patient a perfect outcome, nice straight aligned teeth, teeth that are upright. Take a panoramic x-ray, look at the roots in the bone. It should look like matchsticks. They shouldn't be crisscrossing, applesaucing, leaning over, anything like that. So this is where you hand the patient the mirror. I mean, I want to see things symmetrical. You know, 8 and 9, upper ones should be symmetrical. I mean, if they're made the right shape. Sometimes, you know, teeth aren't the right shape and size. They're not equal. There's no symmetry. So then you can't expect them to be symmetrical. But if they are symmetrical teeth, I want them to look symmetrical. Same thing with 7 and 10, you know, upper twos. They should look symmetrical if they are the right shape and size. Canines, and so on. Especially the social 6 and top, I'm going to do my best to make them absolutely perfectly symmetrical. Lowers, I'm going to do my best, but sometimes there's wear issues. Sometimes they don't even see them. So that's, you know, that's the little bit of the wiggle room. You know, premolar rotation, nobody died from that. My premolars are rotated. They just relapsed. Who the heck cares? I don't care. But I'm never going to say that to a patient. I'm going to say my goal, if you give me all the power, you know, my goal is to make it type it on perfect. But there's a point where you may not care anymore and you might be done. So I want to know what bothers you. What do you want to fix? You want to fix it all? You want to fix this and this, you know, and really let the patient have a little bit of control, because we don't want to do like 50 more refinement aligners if the patient is pissed. So I call that Hollywooding, and patients love that. They love to weigh in on the little things, you know. Just remember that laterals are meant to be a little bit, you know, a little bit higher, you know, stepped up than centrals and canines. You know, you're not supposed to look like a denture, like a big row of chiclets. So if the patient is asking for something that's unhealthy or unstable or not balanced, you know, we're not going to do that. You don't have that kind of power, but, you know, you're going to do your best to try to make it the way it is. And hopefully your initial Clincheck is there and you can say, you know, hey, we agreed on this. I'm going to try to emulate this as much as possible. So that's pretty much it. That's how you know if your patient needs a refinement. The great news is if you're doing what I recommend and using an unlimited or a comprehensive case, they're all free. Maybe a little shipping charge sometimes. Not a big deal within that 5-year window. So you should always, 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 always use comprehensive or unlimited on all your cases. Why? Yes, it's a little bit more, but because until you really get the swing of things, and it takes thousands of cases to get the swing of things, you know, or until you get a volume discount, it's just going to actually save you money in the long run. Just trust me on that. So, all right, thanks so much.